feel the power? Can you feel the power? Feel the power of double X.
I feel the power, 21.org, Internet Radio.
You are listening to Jerry Royce Live Worldwide Podcast.
Hey, my name is Davis and I'm from Haiti, but I live in Dominican Republic. I'm here for the Power 21, Jerry Royce Live Worldwide.
All right, what's going on, family? What's up? Welcome to Late Night with Jerry Royce Live Worldwide, a.k.a. the Batman of Charm City, and the beautiful Shay Samuels coming out of Atlanta, Georgia. Tonight on our show, we got a special guest coming out of the D.C. area. She's a super duper producer, but we're gonna let Shay Samuels introduce her, and meanwhile we're gonna keep Miss Nicole on hold for a second while I chop it up real quick with Shay. What's up, Shay? How you doing?
What's up, Batman? Happy Monday. How are you?
Happy Monday, man. Monday.
It seems like forever. I mean, I know it's like every other Monday, but it seems like forever at times that we get a chance to talk to one another. What's up, Jerry Royce Live, a.k.a. the Batman?
It was a busy weekend. You know, I took my kids, we miss them so much. We took my kids down to North Carolina, which I love North Carolina. Everything just slowed down. Felt like we was there for 7 days and then came back here and the weekend was over like that. But
that's how it works.
I know. But, you know, we've been enjoying, you know, our time, you know, with Mimi and the wife and, you know, fan pit projects, you know. More projects.
Yeah.
Love
it's always good.
Love it.
Projects are always good. This is a good time to do, and we talked about that before, the pandemic. This is the best time for everybody to kind of throw those things in the bucket that we've been trying to lay aside for a while because we've been too busy doing everything else. So, yeah, projects are always good. All that editing you got to do, all the videos you got to find, the TV shows you got to, you know, put out. Like you should have enough on your plate.
Man, I'm always looking for something fresh to do. Well, you know, Skeet told you he finished the theater. I finished the theater. You know, he told you that as he was laying you out today.
Yeah, I got chewed out by Skeet today. You know, I got those. I meant to tell you too, that little the little emoji thing, the little monkey thing you sent. My mom would have probably freaked out about that.
I know everybody just been cracking up. They say you must not have enough to do, Batman. Looking for.
No, I love it. I love it. You're just always growing. You're just always growing. So you bring animation to life.
That's right. You got to keep things alive. People have been calling me lately. You know, I'm surprised the phone calls I get. And it'd be so funny because people said, just keep doing what you're doing. Just be you. You know, I'm having fun. You know.
Yeah. That's what you're doing, bringing animation to life.
Yeah, you can't let number 45 bring you down and all the other stuff. You gotta keep it moving. You know, because he said it's going to just disappear, and I believe that. It's going to disappear one day. They're going to say, "Oh, you can unmask," and I was like, "When that happened?" So I'm just keeping it moving, you know, keeping it moving, Shay. That's all I'm doing. And meeting great people too. I had some fantastic phone calls. It's just unbelievable the talent that's out there right now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I love that it's growing, just the talent. I love that it's growing more. Like before it was just, you know, with the first 1 or 2 years or so, and probably before my time, because I started back in 2014. But then, of course, you know, my ministry grew. But everything was about music. But now you have music, you have authors. More authors are coming out. There's just a plethora of talent and actors and actresses. And so it's you know, the community of our community is growing. It's ever growing. And so there's always something for people to do if you want it.
That's right. We're meeting producers and directors. You know, it was funny. I was telling them, I was there for Lakeisha today, you know, the magnitude of some of these people we're meeting, you know, these people, servant leaders, you know, doing that thing out there. I said it was funny. I was communicating with with Dr. Lee Lewis, incredible woman. I'm thinking she's just an animator, illustrator of this fantastic cartoon, and find out this lady had like motion pictures and stuff pending. It was like,
wow, yeah. I have a friend who's actually raising her kids, and they started off as face painters. I never forget when she moved here to Georgia, there was a Martin Luther King Day event that we were doing, and the person this was her first like table set up in Georgia, and the person who hosted that event, and keep in mind it's Martin Luther King Day, so there's over 1,000 people there, paid for every child to get their face painted. So that was her first table set up. But then she moved into cartoon characters. So now they have a whole cartoon character, and she called me one day. She's like, "Hey, I need somewhere to record," because they were going to be recording the animated part, the voiceovers. So I am so proud of her. It's been over a year or so that they've been doing it, but they have books. Her kids all have books. They're authors. And so shout out to the parents who are doing that with their children, because we've made it so much about us. The children, they have a creative mindset as well. So it is amazing to see the parents who are allowing the kids. Shout out to Paula G, because she did on her show, Survival Radio. She was doing that one kid spot a month where she's celebrating a kid. So you've learned a lot about children who are doing things in the community, ice cream shops, and they're doing it big. The kids are doing it big. So yeah.
And I'm happy to be in a position now that, we're about to launch our television show. I've been talking to a lot of the storytellers, and they're putting their segments together. So Skeet's ready to do his thing. The theater's done. I talked to Jordy. Jordy actually told me I have to write a script for him now. I just can't be telling him to say. I want a script. I was writing.
You might have to write a script for you, Batman.
I know. So I wrote the script for him, and we're gonna do our thing this week. I did it actually while I was listening to Lakeisha Mosey's show, and it was a productive 30 minutes.
Okay.
So anyway. Kids are pretty thorough these days. You just can't be winging with them. They want you. Plus he go to school for media production when he was in high school, so he knows right from wrong. So Batman just can't be making stuff up. He knows it.
It's like you think you can get over, but he's like, no, they're the next. Whitney Houston said it best: "The children are our future for sure."
Right, that's right. I just never forget when baby girl and I think we had just finished shooting her music video countdown, and I said, "Let's do a quick commercial." He said, "Where's my script?" I was like, "There's no. I'm about to tell it to you." But anyway,
well, that's those are your kids. Those are your kids. That's how you raise them.
All right. Well, look, you ready to talk to Miss Nicole? I know she's on the standby, and just she did let me know straight up that her first name is actually, because I know we probably was going to say what we was going to say. She said it's SHARI. SHARI Nicole is her name. So I'm going to just say hi to her, because she's actually a neighbor of mine, 45 minutes away up the Beltway, or the Baltimore Parkway, the Parkway. What's going on, Miss Nicole? How are you? Welcome to Positive Power.
I'm fantastic. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
My pleasure. But thank you for helping us out, because I dropped the ball. I was on vacation, and it's spilled over to the weekend. Media people can't be on vacation.
It happens sometimes.
I really need it. They be working me hard when it's in, so I need to. I apologize, but thank you so much for taking the show, and I think everybody's gonna learn a lot from you, judging by what I saw. You've been nominated for everything, so. We are really honored to have you here. We're so humble. So thank you so much. Amen.
Well, it's my honor. Thank you. Thank you so much. Anytime I get to, share and converse with great people doing great things, I'm always excited about it. So I appreciate the opportunity.
All right. And then people probably waiting for Batman to move his mug and to put your pretty face up there. So it's up there, everybody. I know y'all was saying, get out of here, man. But she's up there, y'all. But look, have a great show, and I hope to meet you soon. Amen?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Shay.
Thank you, Batman. Well, welcome everyone to the late night show with Jerry Royce, and I am your co-host, Shay Samuels. I'm excited to be here with you guys. I have to give a shout out to my sisters in radio, Miss Lakeisha Mosley and Paula G. Voice, Lady Wisdom After Midnight. I don't know why I'm tongue twisted tonight, but to God be all the glory. Paula G., want to say shout out to you. Thank you so much for filling in every other Monday. We get such an amazing blessing when you're on. And Jerry Voice Live, we thank you so much for providing the platform for so many of us to do what we do. And we're always playing our continued blessings over you and your family, especially as you travel the roads. We can't say the airways right now, the roads. So shout out to Sky and shout out to Jordy for doing your thing this year in school. We have an amazing, amazing guest tonight. Guys, I'm excited about this young lady. I had an opportunity to read her bio, and I loved everything that I read. And you guys know I never, ever want to do a guest injustice by reading the actual bio because they can do it better than I can. So I'm going to go ahead. And so now Jerry has me all scared because I'm like, say your first name again.
It's Shari.
Yeah.
Kind of like Stevie Wonder.
How was he pronouncing it? Well, this is the thing, though. He didn't even try to pronounce it, which I appreciate, because this is what happens. Like, real talk. I get black people pronounce my name Shari. I don't know. I think we just like putting a spin on things. And then people of Europe, look, that's why we like to put a spin on stuff. And then people of European persuasion, they say Sherry. So I'm used to one of those two things. But I try to tell people beforehand, okay, this is how you say it. Well, I absolutely love it because I'm like, I was going to say that, but when he said it, my heart dropped like, oh, wait. So then I went back like, I know that I saw it. There was a friend of mine and her name was Cherie, spelled the same way. And I love it. Your middle name Nicole?
Yep, it's Nicole.
Okay.
Yep.
So my daughter's middle name is Nicole, and I love that you have a Y in it. It's so funny because my oldest daughter, her middle name is Monique, and it's ironic because it's Monique. So when I was probably in about 6th grade, don't know why I was thinking about this. Please don't ask, but I was in the 6th grade, and there was a girl who was in my gym class, and her name was Monique, but I kept calling her Monica, because I had never seen Monique spelled that way. Like, Monica. And so finally she told me her name was Monique, and I said, you know what? I think when I get older, I'm going to name my daughter Monique because I just like the way that it sounds. But I really was going to call her Monica. Well, anyway, I had a daughter, and I stuck to it. Her middle name is Monique. I don't know where the girl is. I don't know where Monica is now. But now, if you're listening somewhere, I named my daughter after you. Yes, I named my daughter after you. But, yes, so Miss Cherie Nicole, it is an honor for us to be on the line with you. I love everything that you have going on, and I'm so excited for the guests to get a chance to learn about you tonight. And for those of you who don't know who you are, I'm going to ask that you go ahead and present yourself to them. Just give a little bit about who you are and what you want us to know about you.
Sure. It's always weird talking about yourself. I don't know if you're one of those people where it's like, tell me about all the cool things about you. I get all like,
and then you get like, I like the color blue. Well, I like blue.
Right, exactly.
I like peanut butter and jelly. I like reading books.
It's like the first day of school. And it's interesting because it's the first day of school for a lot of, I live in Atlanta, so it's the first day of school for a lot of kids. So I'll just try to present my best first day of school presentation for everybody as quickly as I can. But I have been in the production industry for almost 10 years. I'm a former athlete, so I played basketball most of my life, 8 years old to 23 years old. Played Big Ten basketball, and after a couple of years, I transferred and finished playing in the MAC conference at a mid-major school, Northern Illinois University. From there, I got a master's degree from the Medill School of Journalism at Northwestern University, and I was off to the races. And so during my career, I've had an opportunity to work on several projects for TV One, which would include Find Our Missing, and also News One Now with Roland Martin, which was the first ever national all-black news show. And then from there, I went on to stay with the TV One family to do Sister Circle Live, which was an amazing experience as well. And so I'm really, really grateful for different projects I've been able to work on. I also did a series with Will Packer last year. It was a digital series called Power Star Live, which was a great experience. So I've done talk, I've done news, I've done digital, I've done a lot of live television and things of that sort. I'm knee-deep in the production field, but I went to school initially to be on camera and to be a personality, which I'm just now coming into and being able to really do and turn a corner. And it's interesting because had COVID not hit, I don't know if I would be saying that right now. So, it's opened up a lot of doors for me to, take time out and create my own content and, get in people's faces the way that I need to. And so I currently, Sister Circle was canceled right at, the end of March, top of April. And then from there, I went on to create and host my own IG Live series called Just a Thought. And then most recently, I also do a weekly show on Philly's Favor 100.7 FM. It's called The Gray Area, and that's every Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern. So I'm really, really grateful. I'm working on some independent projects as well. I just sold a documentary. I wish I could tell you, but I can't because the ink isn't totally dry yet. But I just sold my first. I'm really excited, though. I just sold my first project, and I'm really looking forward to sharing that. Me and my creative partners, we've worked so hard, and as women, it's 3 Black women, and for us to be able to do this by ourselves with a project that would take a huge team of people to do is just, I'm really grateful and blessed about that, and I'm just excited about being able to develop content, be talent in certain respects, and do radio, do some TV, still produce. So God's opening a lot of different doors right now, and, I'm just grateful to be able to share with people, the importance of continuing to just push through. This is a challenging time that we're currently in, but I'm sure all of us could say that we've been through challenging times prior to what's going on right now. And I think it would all be safe to say as well, there are rewards at the end of the press and the hard work. And so if nothing else, I want people just to hear me out, to be inspired by that enough to continue to push for the things that they know that they're purposed to do. I'm a very purposed person. I'm a very purposed producer. That's how I move in this industry. That's what sustained me in this industry. And so, my thing is always proper positioning. Are you positioned in purpose, in your purpose? And if you are, then no matter what you come up against, ultimately that you will be where you are supposed to be at all turns. So that's my little spiel.
That's really good. Well, it's really good, though, because that's what I was going to really, really hone in on today. Part of your bio, you talk about not being abrasive and having the courage to confront the uncomfortable things in your life. Yeah. And it amazes me that a lot of us have really been blessed by the pandemic. I know that we've heard so many people talk about losing their jobs, and we've heard so many people talk about how they didn't know what they were going to do in the pandemic. And I had kind of talked a little bit about how we needed to financially put ourselves in position a year ago, right? Not for the pandemic, but just really to encourage people to really start looking at your finances and what would happen if ... And so and so here you're saying, even in your bio, you're saying, look, I'm not going to be abrasive. I'm going to go ahead and start walking this thing out. I'm going to be bold. Listen, everything that I've learned, everything that I've done, every person that I've touched, everything that I've connected to, you're saying it put you in a position now to where it's turned around for your good and you're making the best out of it. You turned that passion and purpose into what can be profitable for you. It can be profitable for others. So talk to someone today about that and how you were able to overcome that uncomfortable stage.
Interesting you say that. First of all, I'm still overcoming. And I think, as Christians and just even people who don't necessarily, ascribe to the faith, we need to understand that we're all in process. So when we have conversations, I think, especially if it's a radio interview or something like that, the assumption is the person being interviewed and in a spotlight being shown on them, they must have arrived. Like they've dotted all their I's and crossed all their T's, and there's still no work.
Get off of my question.
I think the important thing to understand is that I'm still overcoming. I still, I like many lost a job, like a lot of people in this country when COVID-19 hit, and I had to figure it out. And I had to finally, I had an LLC that had been formed, but kind of sitting on ice, and I was leaning on a job that was a staff position, so I wasn't necessarily reaching out in an entrepreneurial capacity in the way that I should have been. Okay, pandemic hits, lose the job. Now you got to open up the business account. Now you got to start hustling in a different way. And so, going through that really helped me to understand you have to make adjustments. And, yeah, crappy things happen, but there's always an avenue to get beyond the circumstance if you're willing to see those things. And it's interesting you asked me the question about just kind of the uncomfortability side and overcoming and how, there are things that happen that ultimately shape good and great experiences you have. I had my show yesterday. My show is live, and so as you know, it's live. And just like this, anything can happen. My call could drop right now, and if that happened, you'd have to figure out how to continue the show until you were able to get me back on, or maybe I wasn't able to join back. You'd have to figure it out in real time. And so my call dropped during my interview, right in the middle of my interview yesterday, and I did not panic, and I just kept going like nothing was happening. And when the show was over, I became overwhelmed with so much gratefulness to the point where I got on Facebook Live and did a whole live about it. And it wasn't because, I'm so great, I recovered, and I lost the guest, and I kept it moving, and I did my thing. It's like, no, it's like in that very moment, I was able to use the tools that God had been putting in my tool belt for almost 10 years. I've been able to produce a lot of great talent, like a Roland Martin and the ladies of Sister Circle, a Quad Webb and a Selena Johnson, a Rashawn Ali, a Trina Braxton. I've watched them make mistakes. A Rock Newman, I worked on his show for a while. So being able to learn from other people's mistakes. What kind of grace is that? That God has graced me to be able to learn from others' mistakes, to be able to inhibit me from making those same mistakes later on. And so had I not had the experience of being able to watch them work through those types of things, because I work for a lot of live shows, so watching them have to deal with issues live, and even as a producer, certain things not going right in a live show. After it happens to you so many times, you develop like a callus to it, to the point where it's like, okay, the call dropped, okay, let's get them back. Boom, you stay calm. But would I have been able to respond the way I did yesterday 2-3 years ago? Probably not, because I would have been all up in arms and freaking out about it and stumbling and bumbling. But in that moment, I was so grateful. So I think that, part of what we need to understand is that there's lessons to be learned in what we perceive as failure. And it's our choice to perceive it as failure or not. I'm a very task-driven person because I'm an athlete. A lot of things are very black and white for me, and I'm trying to work through that and understand like everything. Just because something didn't work out doesn't mean you failed. Like what can you take from that to do the next thing? And so I think during my journey professionally in particular, I've been able to kind of work through that and understand just because something didn't work out doesn't mean that you failed. And ultimately, it didn't work out because God that wasn't for you. He needed to shift you in another way. I think I have a control. Another thing this COVID-19 pandemic did, it really revealed to me, like in a real way, you don't control anything. It doesn't matter what you've done, how you succeeded, how many awards you get. You're not in control, and you can't control the consequences of what happens. Ultimately, God has the final say about everything. And so for me, this is also throughout the course of my career, I'm coming to learn I'm not in control. So when someone says, I'm gonna call you back about an audition, I don't freak out as much when they don't call me back after a few days, because I'm like, okay, well, I'll reach out, just to make sure. But I'm not going to keep, let me see I wonder why they haven't called. It's like, no. If they want to work with me and I'm supposed to work with them, it's going to happen. I'm not saying lean back and let stuff come to you. That's not what I'm saying. But if you've done the work that you are supposed to do, then you don't have to. And you've already done it, so you can rest in the fact that I have walked through the process in the way befitting of me getting an opportunity. If I don't get that opportunity, it's simply because it's not for me, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. So I'm just working on a reprogramming now. So I'm very much still a work in progress, but I think also having a village around you, I have great mentorship. My family's amazing. My parents are amazing. Like I have a very close-knit family and a huge village, and I think that's part of the reason why I've been able to kind of work through some of these things and still kind of attain certain levels of success and sustainability along the way.
I love that you said you also have to utilize the resources around you. Like you knew the resources around you. You knew what you were able to grab a hold on to. And I like that you encouraged someone today in that, because, the pandemic has been going on since March. And I don't care who it is that I talk to. They're always, talking about how the pandemic. And I finally just stopped people, because if that's what stopped you, then you never started in the first place.
Yeah, that's a word.
I mean, if you think about it, if it's like if that's what stopped you, I found that in the pandemic, a lot more resources started to come up. Like you said, you found your spotlight just in the pandemic. So talk to us about being a media personality and a super producer. Let's start with the media personality first. You gave a little overview, but now here's the time for you to kind of like you're in your third day of schooling now. So we passed the first day of school. We've done that presentation.
Okay, cool.
This is day 3. Give us day 3.
Day 3, it's interesting. I am just now, and this is a test of patience, which again is something I've continued to work through. I went to school and decided probably my junior year in college that I wanted to be in front of the camera, which also meant, behind the mic and radio. I knew that was what I wanted to do, and I believed I had a gift to do it. And, I got to my grad program, and it was time to graduate. And, anybody that's graduated, might, you feel a little nervous. You kind of like a little bit, you feel like you're prepared, but at the same time, it's like, oh, here's the real world. Like, what am I going to do? How am I going to, am I going to get the right job? Am I going to make enough money? Am I going to like what I do? And I was talking to different professors I had, and, a lot of them said, well, you definitely have the potential to be on camera, but if you want to do it, you'll probably have to work in news, which I hate news, which is also funny because I worked for a news show for almost 4 years. So look at God. Often what you don't want to do is what you end up doing to get to where you're trying to go.
Right.
But they said, well, you probably have to work in news, and you probably won't make much money. But if you go, and you probably have to move, and I'm from Chicago. I wasn't ready to just uproot my life and move somewhere else and make pennies and work in news. Like, all of it sounded terrible to me. And so they were like, well, if you take the producing track, you can probably stay in Chicago. You make more money, up front, and then you can try to work your way back in front of the camera. And so that's really what became my method and what I planned to do. But again, it's just God laughs at our plans. And so as I moved through the production industry, what started to happen was I became so good at it that's the pigeonhole that people put me in. And it became less about my other giftings and more about what the gift of producing could do for whoever I was working on behalf of. And I got a bit discouraged at that. And there would be moments where people would, ask me, why are you not on camera? Why are you producing? And I would say, it's not really like I want to be on camera. It's not like I'm trying not to be, but I would get that a lot. But at the same time, I would just study. Like, again, I produced for a lot of hosts. So I would study what they would do. I would watch how they would prepare. I would watch how they would function in front of the camera. I would study them. And at the same time, I just felt handcuffed in a sense. So I worked on some great projects and great shows and, award nods and nominations and things like that. But at the same time, I always felt very much a void. Like, I have more to offer. I wish somebody would give me an opportunity.
No, my
and
God, have the best place to be.
Yeah, I'm telling you, but we have to stop doing that too. We have to stop waiting and yearning for someone to give us an opportunity and create our own. Yeah. So as I move through, go ahead.
I was going to say, those are the best opportunities. I call it free schooling, but go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, and ultimately that's what it was. But in the moment, I looked at it as a restrictive measure, but still something that I enjoyed, had a passion for, and that was sustaining the lifestyle that I wanted to live. As I moved through the industry, I got to, my most recent job, and I had some expectations about being able to do some of the doing a little bit of on-camera stuff, and it just didn't happen. And again, very disappointing because as I've gotten further along this business, it's become more clear to people, she should be doing this too. Like, and it almost becomes torturous. I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where you're functioning in a capacity, you're really great at what you're doing, but you also have some other gifts that you're just trying to tap into, or you're hoping somebody can get a hold of so they can give you an opportunity on this side. And then you almost try to deny it because it's too hurtful to think about the fact that you can't do it. And then when somebody says to you, why are you not doing that? What is going on? It makes it more torturous. So I went through a phase where people kept asking, why are you on camera? I'm like, guys, just leave me alone. But again, it was also confirmation. You're supposed to function in that capacity. It's just not time yet. And so when Sister Circle ended, it was like, no more excuses. No more excuses that I can't do Instagram lives and create my own stuff because I'm so busy. I can't function. Those excuses are gone. No more excuses about, well, they weren't honest with me. They didn't give me an opportunity. I was supposed to. Those are over because there's nobody that you can be mad at because there's nobody you work for. So how about that? So from that point, that's when and then again, think about this too. You talk about dots connecting. How many people I've met over the course of 9-10 years in the industry that I send my phone? People I can call that managers and publicists and artists and different entertainers that have now become like colleagues of mine, some actually friends, associates. Now I can call and book my own show and do my own stuff. I can call and email whoever I want to. And so, this was a great opportunity. What I'm doing now with my IG series, Just a Thought, and a shameless plug, that's every Thursday on my IG, SHARI_NYCOLE.
Oh, that was my next
at
question.
6 p.m.
So you might as well just go ahead into it. Yeah.
6 p.m. Eastern every Thursday. But what I started to do was I just started to reach out to all the people I've met in the industry over the years and established relationships with. And I say relationships are super important. Every job I've ever gotten in the industry is because of somebody I knew in the infrastructure of the industry. And so I started to call them and I started to book my own show, which I'm still doing. And people started to take notice. And then all of a sudden that show led to the radio show that I do, The Gray Area. Had I not done Just a Thought on my own, I wouldn't have The Gray Area. The owner of the station was watching, and I had no idea. And so from there, that's how I got the radio show. And so, I think that, some of us are waiting, and it's not because we're lazy. It's simply because we feel like we've done everything that we're supposed to do, so we're waiting for someone to see us. And the reality is, in many instances, we have to put ourselves in positions to be seen. So had I not done Just a Thought, I wouldn't be in a position to be seen to get the other opportunity. So sometimes, you've taken a whole bunch of steps. You might just have to take one more baby step to get to where you ultimately want to go. So I'm still working through it. I'm still reaching out for opportunities. I'm still pushing, auditioning, and things like that. But I do feel like I'm in a place now where, that door I've been trying to open, and we forced stuff. We're trying to open the door real hard, and God he's about to hand me the key, and I'm just going to open it, and then it'll be normal. Because it's like, when you think about it, because it's like you think about it, when you think about it, like, honestly think about it. Anytime you guys really laid a blessing upon you, on your life, has it felt difficult? Like, when it finally happened, it typically is like somebody calls you out of nowhere. There's a job that comes out of nowhere. There's an opportunity. At least for me, I don't, there's work involved, but when it actually happens, it's effortless because the work has already been done. So that's where I feel like I am.
Go ahead.
No, I'm done. That's I'm just saying, like, that's where I feel like, all this different work, I feel like I'm at a point now where it's just, thanks for the key, here we go. But I earned it because I did everything I was supposed to. You know what I'm saying? But and it's always a level. So you get to the next level, I would hope that we aspire, not to say we're ungrateful, but we should aspire to different levels of elevation on a holistic level. That's physically, that's spiritually, that's mentally, that's professionally, that's emotionally, that's all of these things. Yeah. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. And I love that you said that. We're going to go into your show. I want you to talk about your show and what it's about so that everyone knows. Yeah. That wasn't a shameless plug. You did exactly what you were supposed to do. Typically how it works is like, I just have a line of questioning in my head, and then it segues so perfectly. But I have a saying, and my partner, he always laughs at me because I used to say this, and I don't say it anymore, but I always would go, it just fell in my lap. I was just sitting there. Yeah. I was reading something, and then, I got this phone call, and like, it just fell in my lap. And he goes, it didn't fall in your lap. You worked for that. You planted the seed somewhere, and because you planted it somewhere, it grew. And the fruit from that grew. But he used to say it all the time. He goes, one day, I guess it just got on his nerves. He goes, stop saying it. I mean, he got bold enough to say, stop saying it. He said, it didn't just fall in your lap. You worked for that. You had to make phone calls for that. You had to pray for that. You had to know somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody because of your reputation and the solid dipper. You had to, he goes, so you worked for it. So, yes, it goes back again to Faith Without Works, because all of this leads up into your show. All of this leads up into you being a media personality and a super producer. And also, you have to have a great reputation for you to be able to pick up the phone and call the colleagues that you call to say, look, I need to do this, and they say yes.
Mm-hmm.
So talk to us about your show.
Yeah, and before I get into the show, that's a great point that you just made. And this is not to puff myself up, but this is to really exacerbate the fact that you have to be consistent in who you present to people, and not who you're trying to present, who you genuinely are.
Yeah.
Because that's what people are attracted to, and that's what they remember. I always tell younger folks in particular, they don't remember a selfie. If you meet somebody, even a celebrity, they don't remember that. They remember an exchange that you may have had with them, a communicative exchange that they were just like, man, that person really had a good conversation, or they knew something about me that was really cool, or they encouraged me. One of the things that I enjoy doing, things that people don't realize about celebrities, there's an air of acceptance sometimes that a lot of them carry just because of what they do. They have to be accepted. That's how they sell records. That's how they have people go to their movies or whatever. So, and a lot of times they're tired and worn down. Sometimes I just say, you know what? Thank you so much for sharing your gift with us.
Yeah.
Thank you. They don't. People don't get enough of that, and people in general. So it's about how you make someone feel and how you handle your business. For me, I don't care what I'm doing. I'm going 120%. Everybody knows, and people in the industry know. Anybody that's worked with me on the producing side, Shari's got it. I don't even have to. That's who they'll call. They'll call and say, okay, I want to book my guest, but I want Shari to do it. And, having that relationship with people and them understanding that I'm going to take care of them and or their client, that's what allows me to pick up the phone and do those things. And knowing that it's not just for me, it's because I want them to have a good experience. It's not because I can look good. It's like if I'm producing you, I want you to enjoy the experience. You know what I'm saying? So, with my show, what I enjoy doing is really giving artists, and I interview all different people from all different walks of life: activists, entertainers, athletes. I've got to have my sports talk in there. Singers, hip hop artists, health and wellness experts, fitness folks, like anybody really. Fashion. I did a demo, it was so fun. I did a demo with one of my buddies in makeup. His name is Frederick Sanders. He's a celebrity makeup artist. He's amazing. He showed us how to do eyeshadow. I mean, across the board. And what it is, it's an opportunity for, me to engage with people in a way that allows them to completely be themselves. I don't want people to feel like they're on, quote unquote, when they talk to me. I want them to be relaxed and us simply to have a conversation. And I want them to open up and feel free to open up about things that they might not have an opportunity to do if they're just doing a regular interview on a news show or a talk show where they ask you about your project and then you move on. Like, no, let's have a real conversation, because I think one of the things that, especially in the Black community, we are lacking is substantive conversation. And I say this all the time because I feel like it's so important. We do not have enough conversations in our community. And I don't care if we don't agree. I don't think we provide, pillows for each other to lay on and just release and just communicate. And then I think we need to work on listening. So what I like for people to do is to be able to, I have a conversation with the guest. People can ask questions. I want people to walk away with having learned something or been entertained or enlightened or, have a renewed perspective about something. I want them to get something out of it. And so, I talk about several different topics. And, it's really just a free flow conversation, and I'm grateful for it because that's the type of person I am. I'm a talker. I'm a conversationalist. That's what I do. Like, that's just how I am. My family, growing up, we would sit, and we still do it as adults. We sit in the room, we just talk. No TV on. We're just talking. And so if I can encourage, my people to do that more by providing the example of just a thought, that's what I want to do. And so I've learned so much from about myself and from others that I've interviewed, and just really, really trying to inform everybody. So it's a free flow exchange, and I'm just having a blast doing it, and it gives me a chance to stretch and show my versatility, because it's fun to talk about sports the first 15, 20 minutes and then jump in and talk about, what's going on in the movies or what's going on the ground in, Stone Mountain, Georgia. We just had a KKK rally out here. It's fun to be able to jump in those different types of pools and swim around and then, come out and do it again the following week. So that's really what Just a Thought is about. And then, the gray area that's on Philly's Favor. What I enjoy about that show is, Philly's Favor is a faith-based radio platform. And the thing that I'm trying to do with the gray area is I'm trying to encourage my listeners and those I talk to really consider what happens when things aren't in black and white. What happens in with those blurred moments where things are a little bit gray and we kind of don't want to talk about it because, church folk, we don't really want to talk about this. But they're the very things we need to talk about to be able to advance and progress some of the things that we're trying to do. Yeah. So, in allowing us to be able to relate to our children better. Because if we don't talk about it, they're going to learn it on the TV. They're going to let the radio will raise them, or Spotify, or whatever you want to call it. So, that's an opportunity. The gray area is super fun. I interview gospel artists. I interview, again, it's really kind of similar to just a thought in terms of who I talk to. I talk to people of all different walks of life. But the thing about it is I want to give, and also in addition to that, I want to give artists, like I have secular artists on, like Kevin Ross, for example. He's a secular artist, but we talked a lot about faith. His father is a deacon. So we talked a lot about how his faith plays into his creativity and his creative process. And also, again, people think that just because people don't sing gospel music that they're not people of faith, they must not be Christians. Yeah. That's not true. Yeah. So I want to open people's eyes to understanding that, we're all very colored and layered people. And the gray area is an opportunity for my listeners to be able to see that. And also, again, the people I talk to be able to share in a way that they haven't. Because think about it. How many artists, how many entertainers, how many athletes get to really sit and talk about their faith or talk about things that inspire them and motivate them and, what I'm saying, in a real way and not feel like somebody's on the other end like, they just saying this because they on this and they on a gospel station. They not really, you know what I mean? Like really giving them opportunity to share in that way. So that's what both my shows are about. And, I'm just having a total blast doing it. I'm growing. I'm getting better. I'm learning, some of the things that I do well and learning some of the things that I need to work on. So it's a good measure for me. You could say all day long, I should be a personality and all this kind of stuff. But when you actually get in that hot seat, when somebody pushes the live button, when you're the one on display, you learn some things about yourself. So overall, it's been very fulfilling. It's definitely gotten me through this pandemic in a different way, and I feel a sense of freedom that I have not felt in quite some time. So I'm very grateful for that.
That's what it's all about, too, feeling that sense of freedom, doing something that you absolutely 100% love to do. And just as a reminder, where can everyone find the shows again?
So you guys can listen to the gray area. It comes on Philly's Favor 100.7 FM now. If you don't live in Philadelphia, that's fine. You can download the Philly's Favor app to listen live, and that's every Sunday from 7 p.m. Eastern to 8 p.m. Eastern. My other show, Just a Thought, airs on my IG Live. It's from 6 p.m. Eastern to 7 p.m. Eastern. That's every single Thursday. So if you follow me on Instagram at SHARI, SHARI _NYCOLE, NYCOLE, you will get a chance to hang out on my IG and see all the amazing guests I interview and comment if you want and engage because I encourage that. So, yeah.
Well, I have learned a lot, and I really, really appreciate you coming on with us tonight. Before we leave, I do want to ask you to give another word of encouragement to someone who's listening, striving, seeking. They're not even able to, they know purpose exists. They don't know how to, we both said enough to kind of like, how you light up a lighter and it's like,
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to ask you to one more time and light that fire.
Yeah, I think this time has hit everybody. Everybody's been affected by what's going on. But I will say that just because there are circumstances that are in our face that we can see that seem dire, does not absolve God from working miracles, does not absolve God from blessing us. And understand, if you are open to it and really believe that God is in the blessing business regardless of a COVID-19 pandemic or not. And there are a lot of people that have tapped into that reality that are thriving. And so if you can take a moment to come outside of how you feel about your circumstance, and that's tough because I struggle with that too. Sometimes we sit in our feelings where we're blind to what God is trying to do. But if you can come out of your feelings for just a couple minutes and really allow yourself to hear from him and to take you through to that to take you through to that next step, I promise you'll see some things change. And change does not look, it's not a conventional thing. It doesn't look the way that we often think it should look, but that doesn't mean that God is not working. But I challenge everybody listening to either do the thing you've always wanted to do but never tried. Go back to the gifting that you put on the shelf because of whatever reason. Go back and pick it up now, because 9 times out of 10 you got a little bit more time to do that. Or just take a leap and just try something totally new. Because also a lot of us are working jobs or were working jobs that we were discontent in anyway. Don't give all of your time to something that does not fulfill you. You are out of position. So this is a time for all of us to put ourselves in positioned for purpose, and we all have it. Every single person has it. So really take this time to tap into your gifts and understand there's possibility in the midst of all of this. And that's the beauty in God. Regardless of what's going on or what we see, he's removed in a way from the despair, because he can still drop a blessing on you or your family or whatever your needs may be. And understand, too, if you believe it, he'll sustain you. Trust me. There have been times when I didn't know how the bill was going to get paid, how the rent was going to get paid. And all I simply said was, well, okay, Lord, you got to pay it. And it got paid on time. So I would just say just keep.
Hello? She said her phone went out the other day. Did her phone go out the last? I would say, like everybody else say, the devil's a liar. Come on back on this phone.
Can you hear me?
Still in there, but
I can hear you now.
Okay.
I can hear. Look, she spoke it up. She said something happened with the phone.
Yeah, this is the
You
enemy.
see how I came back in when I said the devil's a liar? Look,
because he has no power here. He can't turn up on this thing. But I'll just finish with this little sentence. Just dream again. A lot of us have stopped dreaming for one reason or the other. I encourage everybody, dream again. Dream again and watch what happens. Just do it. Just risk to do it. Risk to dream. You can't. It won't fail you. You can't do anything but go up from there. So that's all I got.
I love it. Jerry got to give us one more second, because I had this question. It's just going to press on me, because for some reason I just see her with like 2 little pigtails and these little ribbons that we used to wear. Like I don't know why little girls don't wear them now, but we used to wear these little ribbons that were made of yarn. I just see like 2 pigtails and the yarn red ribbons and the socks pulled up. Did you go around your block trying to interview people when you were like around 8 or 9 years old?
You know what's crazy? I was so busy like trying to be a basketball player, but what was interesting, I was very fascinated with television from a very young age. And I did not realize, to the point where I would, my parents, I don't even recall doing this, but they say I would stand, like if everybody was on the couch watching TV, I would get up like a psycho and stand in front of the TV where people couldn't see. It was just dumb. But I did not, and I would practice like interviewing myself, which was weird. Like I always kind of had this knack for wanting to do stuff in TV, but I did not realize that's what it was or anything like that until I got to college. Probably my sophomore, junior year in college, when I realized, okay, basketball isn't going to be my life. Let me, this is also fun for me. And thankfully, what I do has given me the same joy, that basketball gave me. So I'm happy about that.
And one thing that you did say, you said a lot of great things, but here's a nugget. Like you said this, and I really appreciate you saying it, because a lot of people are holding on to things they weren't happy with anyway. And so here it's like, okay, this isn't working for me. Oh my goodness, like leaving a bad relationship and then going back right into another bad relationship. Same signs, same everything. I don't care if it's a friend, spouse, whatever. You do the same thing over. And here God is saying, I'm giving you an opportunity for another chance. I put a post up the other day and I said, today, because today's all about motivation. Purpose. We all have it. We all have it. And guarantee you, just like Hansel and Gretel, it's just like Hansel and Gretel. They followed the breadcrumbs back to their home. You have to follow the breadcrumbs back to where it all started. What was your passion?
Yeah.
What did you give up on? What did you do? She said, listen, I started off as an athlete. I was playing basketball, but I would stand up in the middle of the couch. And guess what? When she started walking in her purpose, she was reminded, girl, you were doing that way back when you were younger.
Yeah.
So I encourage you guys to go ahead and pick it back up, like she said, whatever that thing is. Don't let the pandemic, there's two P's here. There's pandemic and there's purpose. Which one are you going to give? Which one are you going to give the power to? Pandemic or purpose? The two P's.
That's good.
Pandemic,
That's good.
Purpose. Which one are you going to get?
And it's your choice. That is your choice. We got to stop acting like this is your choice. Nobody's putting a gun to your head. If you don't do it, that's on you. And if you do it, that's on you. We have to start owning the fact that we can own our choices, and they fall in line with how we move in the world and the consequences that we suffer, whether good or bad. We got to own our own stuff sometimes. Sorry.
Yes. No, that's okay. That's okay. I said, look, I gave my disclaimer. I said, Jerry, we need a couple of more minutes because we just needed to get the rest of that out. Two P's, pandemic, purpose. Which one are you going to focus on in this season of your life? All right, Miss Shari, can you tell everyone where to follow or connect with you?
Yeah, you guys can connect with me on Twitter and Instagram at Shari_Nicole. That's SHARI_NYCOLE. Also, my website, ShariNicole.com, is coming back in a matter of weeks. I'm going to relaunch on September 20th, so I'm excited about that. And then, I think that's pretty much it. You can follow me on Facebook. I got some at Shari Nicole Media. And then if you want to be my Facebook friend in real life, I do have some slots left, so you can just look up Shari Nicole on Facebook, and you can request me and
I better hurry up now. Let me do it now. Let me hurry up now.
Yes, do it right now.
Let me delete and then replenish. Delete, replenish. Well, I am honored to have had an opportunity to speak with you tonight. I'm looking forward to all that God has for you. I'm going to go ahead and connect with you to make sure that I keep in touch with you and what you have going on, and to support what you have going on. I'm excited. Again, sister to sister, I'm proud of you. I celebrate you, and I thank you for following your goals and following your vision and walking out your purpose. I do have one more question to ask before you go, though.
Yeah.
Can you feel the power? Can you feel the power? Can you feel the power?
I can feel, and I have felt the power. No, that's wrong. Okay, how am I supposed to do it? You got to tell me how to do it.
That was it. But that was not even like you just spoke to these. We just said the ladder.
Okay, hold on.
Come on, sis. We just the ladder, the lighter.
I can feel the power. Was that good?
Jerry, give us one more time. Can you feel the power? Can you feel the power? Can you feel the power?
What I'm supposed to say, y'all? Am I supposed to say all of that?
I feel the power. It's your energy.
I feel the power.
Yes.
Sound like a Pentecostal preacher. I gave you a Pentecostal preacher tease on it.
You did the Pentecostal on me. We want to thank you guys for tuning in again. Another amazing episode of Late Night with Jerry Royce Live. I'm co-host Shay Samuels. As always, it is a pleasure. Shout out again to my sisters Lakeisha Mosley and Paula G. Voice, Lady Wisdom After Midnight. We love you guys. Happy Monday.
All right, family, we hope you enjoyed that episode. That's right, the episode with Shay Samuels and Shari Nicole. Don't forget you can check her out on Instagram. That's spelled SHARI_NYCOLE.